Social media has sold us this lie that no matter how hard we try as individuals, we will never be good enough. We've been convinced that self-love is all about the extremes and how we show up for ourselves, whether we have the morning matcha, whether we go to the Pilates workout, or whether we have that 10-step skincare routine. And while these things seem inviting, they are also superficial and don't solve the whole story. Real self-love is something you build over years of understanding who you are as a person, your past trauma, and being the best friend that you've always wished that you'd had in your life. It's not something that can be sold or added to your bucket list or a wish list or a promise to be a better version of yourself tomorrow. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing 10 ways that you can reconnect back to yourself and redefine what self-love means to you. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't watched my videos before, then hi, my name is Fleur. This is your space for all things self-development, where we focus on growth, mindset, and becoming the best version of ourselves. So welcome to this space. Before I get into the video, I just wanted to quickly say thank you so much for helping me hit 1,000 subscribers. It is insane to me, and it's something that I've been working towards for so long. So I'm very grateful for each and every one of you who watches these videos, and I can't wait to see what milestone we will be hitting next. So let's get straight into the video. Tip number 1 is that I want you to stop trying to fix yourself like you're some self-improvement project. You aren't some project or object that you've dropped onto the floor that needs to be stitched up or put plasters all over and, needs to be fixed and turned into something brand new that everybody is going to love. You're becoming, and this destination that you are so badly wishing to reach is the span of your entire life. It is the whole journey. It's who you are as a person. It's who you look into the mirror and see. It's who you are with every single day of your life. It's knowing that every day is a new chance for you to heal. It's a new clean slate, something for you to put paint all over, and then the next day put a different shade of paint all over it. And maybe you'll finish that canvas quicker than you thought you would, and then you'll go on to the next one. It's that ability to be able to connect with our real self and take a breath and remember that you do not need to earn your worth, and that it's not something that you buy. It's not something that you can appreciate once you have that certain thing, or once you've reached that certain milestone, or once you have that person in your life. It is an ongoing progression, and it's not something that you can have overnight. And I think when we trick ourselves into believing that it is something that we can have overnight, or rather that when we do eventually reach it, we will be that best version of ourselves and will finally be happy, we're falling into a hole, we're falling into a lie. Tip number 2 is that you need to make stillness a habit. I actually think that I had an addiction with self-development content. From the minute I woke up to the minute I went to bed, I was consistently consuming videos about how I could become the best version of myself. And while this might actually be helpful, there are times where it's taking away from that ability to create instead of just consume. And I did notice that after my breakup, it gave me the strength to keep moving forward. It gave me the strength to keep working towards that version of myself, because I was able to see people that had done the same thing, who had also been able to get themselves out of that hole and achieve all of the goals that they'd set for themselves. While it was great in that moment of my life, over time I had learned that in order to be able to create and be that creative version of myself and understand my soul, I needed to sit in silence, and I needed to have moments with myself where I could simply think about all of the things that I was trying to ignore, or work through all of the problems I had going on in my head, whether that meant that 5 minutes in the morning I wasn't going on my phone, or when I went to the bathroom I wasn't taking it with me, or when I was in the shower I didn't have a podcast on in the background, or when I walked to the gym I was just allowing myself to listen to nature, or when I was making dinner I wasn't listening to an audiobook or listening to all of these YouTube videos. Wherever I went, my phone and my laptop came with me, because I was consistently wanting to consume. I want to challenge you to not have your phone, to not have your music, and maybe just for 1 second not have all of these goals that you are trying to work towards. Just for 5 minutes, sit with yourself and breathe, because that presence, that is the presence of love, and that is being able to be with yourself instead of running away from yourself. And if you keep running away from yourself, you're never going to be able to be your own best friend. This leads me on to number 3, which is you having to redefine self-care and understand that self-care isn't always pretty. Sometimes it's making a dentist appointment and being on the phone for 2 hours in the morning just so that you can find out that now you are being referred to jaw surgery. Okay, maybe that's just me. Okay, that's fine. Sometimes it's saving money on getting your nails done and learning how to do them yourself, even though you're making a consistent mess and having to repaint your nails about 5 times because of how many times you've messed up. Or is that also just me? Sometimes it's saying no to going out on nights out because you would rather stay in and read a book and be called a grandma. Or again, is that just me? Caring for yourself isn't always about the aesthetics. It's about an awareness and looking after yourself the way that you would a loved one or a friend. You have to ask yourself, what do you actually need right now, rather than what you want or what other people want of you? If you're always showing up for other people and you're never showing up for yourself, how can you ever build that connection with yourself that allows you to be trusting of yourself and allows you to know that when you say you're going to show up for yourself, you're actually going to do it rather than not, and rather than leave yourself or show that you are capable of the opposite of that, which is always giving up on yourself. There is only one person that can believe in yourself the way that you need someone to believe in you, and that's you. Number 4 is that you have to let go of this perfect healing mindset that everybody seems to have on social media. Healing isn't linear, and it's definitely not something you can just throw on your story and put in your highlights and, oh, I had a bubble bath today and I read a book. It is a lot worse than that. It's a lot tougher. It's, looking in the mirror and having a full-on crying session, and instead of thinking that you're absolutely ugly, it's realizing that actually there is just a little child in you that just needs to be heard and just needs a hug, and you just need to look at yourself and just say, you know what, I'm going to be there for you in a way that nobody else has ever been able to be there for you. It's the days that you feel sadness, but you don't allow that to mean that you're failing. You don't allow that to mean that you aren't becoming that person that you want to be. You just see it as experience and allowing yourself to be a human, because you are a human, you're not a robot. Self-love is showing up for yourself even when it's messy, not just when it's pretty or aesthetic. It's allowing yourself to have those moments in the evening where you're journaling and crying over the things that you've just found out about yourself that you would put into the corner of your mind and trying to forget. It's knowing that no matter how many times you compliment yourself in the mirror, it's going to take years for you to actually believe in them because of how long you've embedded the self-hatred. It's listening to your problems and working through them without avoiding them, and knowing that the only person that's ever going to make you feel seen is you. It's not meant to be pretty. If it was, then we would all be doing it. Number 5 is that you need to reconnect with yourself through solitude. Now, this links to what I was saying earlier, but I do think that we spend so much time as a society attempting to be loved and appreciated by other people that we forget to understand the connection that we have with ourselves, and that arguably is the person that matters the most in our life. Especially when you are single, I don't think that there is any better time in life to connect with yourself than there is now. You have all of this time where you are being by yourself and where you have this singular lifestyle. Why are you wishing it away by hoping that somebody is going to walk into your life and be your partner? And although it's all right to have that lover mindset and to just be completely obsessed with romance, you can also be obsessed with the time that you spend by yourself and with the connection that you have with yourself by going on solo dates and sitting in a coffee shop by yourself, or going to a restaurant by yourself, or just allowing yourself to be with yourself without consistently needing the voice of other people or the idea that there might be somebody that you might bump into. Because I definitely sometimes have that feeling where whenever I go out by myself, I'm thinking, oh, who could I meet? Or what friend can I make? Or is there going to be a cute guy that I bump into? But why don't we just put that to the back burner and we just think, what can I think for myself, and what can I think about myself, and how can I be my own best friends, and what can we talk about in my mind, because I'm not crazy enough to actually have conversations with myself out loud in public, but I do it when I'm at home. So I guess I am still crazy. But still, when you stop performing for the world, you start remembering who you are beneath it. And you start remembering the person that you pushed to the corner of the room and said wasn't good enough because when you went to school, people told you that you weren't. And you start hiding that version of you and literally stuffing them into a cardboard box and shipping it off to Oxfam. When instead, what you should really be doing is opening it up, bringing her into your life, or bringing him into your life, or bringing them into your life, and knowing that no matter what, you're always going to be there for them. Number 6 is to create instead of consume. Again, this links on to what I was saying earlier, but although this generation is very free and imaginative with their thinking, we do find it hard to have that balance between creating and consuming. And you know, back before social media was ever a thing, there was no question of whether you were creating or consuming. You were just able to create instead of consume because there was nothing really to consume rather than just literature or the people that you had around you. You didn't have access to thousands and thousands of people's lives at just a single tap of your finger. And so we were very intentional, or I should say them, because I mean, I'd like to believe that I had multiple lives. Currently in this life, I do not know anything but the digital world. So they were very intentional with their creativity and with their ability to understand the world. And you know, like I said, for 2 years I was consuming content and I really barely found any time for my own thoughts, and because of that I was not really writing any poetry and I was not being creative the way that I wanted to because I had a block. You know, at the time I was saying, oh my god, I have writer's block, I can't write, I can't do this, I can't do that, without ever actually understanding that the reason why that was happening was because I was consuming too much and not allowing myself to just do the things that I knew I was capable of doing. And now that I've been consuming less content and I'm actually very careful with the things that I'm consuming, and I'm trying to decipher, okay, what is it that I actually need to learn from and what is it that I think that maybe I already know and I'm just watching for the sake of watching it, it has allowed me to come back to myself and allowed me to know, okay, I'm finally being me again. I'm finally being creative again. When was the last time that you created for yourself without worrying about perfection or without worrying about whether someone else is going to like it or someone else is going to think that it's good? Draw, write, dance, sing, whatever it may be, create videos on social media without worrying about whether people are going to laugh at you or not. It doesn't have to be good. It just has to be authentically you, because self-expression through art and through writing and through all these different forms of the world is one of the purest forms of self-connection that we can have with ourselves. Why are you robbing that from yourself? Number 7 is that you need to forgive yourself out loud. We talk about forgiving others, but we rarely ever give space to forgiving ourselves. And when I say out loud, I mean I want you to stop with me for just a second and say this with me. I forgive myself for not knowing better before I learnt. I hope you said it, because if you didn't, what are you doing? You need to say it over and over and over and over again until it sinks in that whatever mistakes that you made 5, 10, 2, 3 years ago are not always your fault. It's just what you thought you could only do in that given situation at that time in your life with the information and the knowledge that you had as an individual. You cannot possibly think that everything that you know now, you knew 10 years ago. You cannot possibly think that the person that you are now today is who you were exactly 10 years ago. It is normal for you to have had mistakes, for you to have upset people or maybe done things that you wish that you didn't do or have regrets. But if you cannot forgive yourself and learn from them, you are going to be perpetually stuck in the exact moment of your life you do not want to be stuck in. And if you have the ability to forgive other people for hurting you, why can't you do the same for yourself? Like I said, you are not perfect. You are human. You are not a robot. You will make mistakes. You deserve to remember that it is only your first time on earth and that you are not meant to know absolutely everything about how to love other people and how to be the best friend and to be the best daughter or son or whatever it may be. You can't reconnect with yourself while you're still punishing who you used to be. Number 8, and arguably one of my favorite tips and something that I'm always talking about, is to romanticize the ordinary. Now, I did a full YouTube video on how you can add whimsical into your life and just romanticize literally absolutely everything, like even going on a walk. So if you want to learn more about this, then I would definitely recommend watching that video. But I truly love romanticizing my life, and sometimes I forget that this can simply look like romanticizing my ordinary, mundane, day-to-day life as well, like what I have for breakfast in the morning, drink, or the coffee that I love to drink, or the drive that I'm on when I go to work, or the sound of people's voices when I'm at work, or the people that I get to meet, or the nature that is just outside my window, and the friends and the family I love. Just knowing that absolutely everything that is in my current life is something that I can romanticize and something that I can be grateful for. And self-love doesn't always need to have big gestures or, things that require money. It's noticing the tiny little details in our life and the people that we are as individuals that is really part of what self-love actually is. The small things is where life actually happens and are the moments and memories that we will end up missing out on when we are in the next chapter of our life. So the best thing that you can really do is just be present. Just be there with everybody that is in your life. Just be present with it all and just soak it in, because before you know it, you're going to be writing that next chapter of your life and you're not even going to remember what happened in the previous one. Number 9 is to be honest about what you actually want in life. I don't think that self-love is following what everyone else is doing just because you're too scared to follow what actually feels right for you. And sometimes this does look like having difficult conversations with people in your life because you're being authentic in a way that maybe they've never been authentic with themselves. But if you are not true to who you want to be as a person, how can you ever possibly imagine you becoming that better version of yourself if you aren't allowing yourself to click with the things that would allow you to be that better version of yourself? And this may look like deciding to go down a different route with your career, or cutting off people that are toxic and don't actually respect you in the way that you respect them. It's understanding that what might look like normal to someone else might not look like normal to you. What might be someone else's everyday isn't what you want your everyday to look like. You have to be honest about what you want, even if it disappoints other people. You have to say what you want. You have to admit what you don't. Life is too short to live someone else's dream. So please choose authenticity over approval. And this leads me on to the 10th tip, which again I have sort of covered already, which is to just come home to gratitude. When life begins to feel overwhelming, or you start to think that you are the person in the world that has absolutely everything happening to you, that, oh my God, why is it always me? This is the perfect time to just come back to the simple basics of self-love, which is, what are you grateful for? In fact, I want you to pause this video and just for 1 minute, think about 3 things in your room or in wherever you are currently right now that you are grateful for. Who are 3 people that you are grateful for? Because there will be at least one of those that you will be able to answer. Whether it's the roof over your head, or the food in your belly, or the clothes on your body, or the nature that is around you, or the person that's just texted you as you watch this video. There is so much for us to be grateful for, and even the chance to be able to try again tomorrow and have a clean slate, that's another thing that we can be grateful for. Gratitude really turns survival into presence, and then that turns presence into peace. It allows us to be with ourselves in a way that we've never been with ourselves before, because when we are grateful for something, we're allowing ourselves to truly notice it in a way that we have never noticed it before. In conclusion, you don't have to chase self-love anymore or be defined by the next big thing that's trending on social media, like having polka dot nails, and if you don't have them then you aren't cool, or having the road products or this or that, or whatever it may be. You don't have to follow those trends to be known as that it girl or that person that you've always wanted to be. You can do all of those things by simply just quietly loving yourself and being there for yourself and understanding yourself and seeing yourself in a way that you've never allowed yourself to be seen by anybody else. You're not learning how to love yourself. You're simply remembering how to come home. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this, and I will see you next Sunday at 12 p.m. Bye bye, my lovelies.